pagkuha ko sa kanya, it had a lot of like white sticky thing and those were molds pala. So I keep my boxes, not for storage, but for selling for later. O, diba? Parang tao lang. Beshies, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hi, my name is Martha Santa Barbara Villarama, and this is my channel, the Beauty Junkie Vlogs, and I talk about beauty, fashion, specifically luxury bags, travel, lifestyle, and also food. Now, if you are into those kinds of things, please subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. Alright, I got this question over TikTok, and so I decided to create a whole YouTube video out of it because I know that this is something that's gonna be very helpful. So eto na, i-push ko na to. So let's talk about luxury handbag storage and how I take care of my bags. By the way, I'm not gonna include how to clean my bags here because it's gonna be a long video. But if you want to know how I clean my bags, then please comment and then I'll make another video for that. Okay, so one thing that you have to know if you are a luxury bag owner or if you would like to invest in luxury bags in the future or soon, there are other investments that entail this habit of collecting luxury bags, and one of which is investing in storage. Okay, so yung mga handbags na hindi naman ganun kamahal, most of us, well at least me, what I would do is I will just find a spot in my cabinet and I will just put them there. And in the case of my more affordable and yung mga outdoor bags such as my backpacks, they're just in this one big collapsible storage inside my cabinet. Okay, but for luxury handbags such as these, I cannot do that because these are leather and leather is very prone to damage and to being deformed. So that's why they have to have a space where they can sit nicely and comfortably and a place where they can breathe. O, diba? Parang tao lang. Wait lang, kunin ko tong kodigo ko. I will divide this into the following section. So first, let's talk about storage. So in here, I will talk about my setup, my cabinets, dust bags, my stands, SLGs, how I store them, and also the boxes. Second part is storing the bag. So I will talk about how I store my leather bags and my canvas bags because I store them differently. So yan, pag-usapan natin yun ngayon. Okay, number one, let's talk about storage. So first would be the cabinet. So this is the primary thing that you will buy because this is like the house for your handbags. So this one is just from IKEA. This is the Billy bookcase. I got this from Furniture Source because when IKEA opened like a year ago, a year and a half ago, this is out of stock, as in, wala kang makukuha. So I got this from Furniture Source. Their price is pretty competitive, kind of near to the price of IKEA. I think before they were kind of expensive, but since there is competition already, I think that kind of forced them to sort of bring down their prices. I got two, as you can see. I wanted to add a third one, but then it won't fit na pala. However, I have a smaller Billy bookcase over there. I'll turn my ring light a bit over there. So yan. I have the smaller Billy bookcase, which is like half of these regular Billy bookcases. And I use them for my shoes. So we will talk about shoe storage soon. Anyway, going back, so yeah, so this is the Billy bookcase. So this is reinforced because these are pretty slim and then may tendency sila to tip over. That's why it's important to have these reinforced. So parang may ano lang yan, parang they just gave parang like hooks and bolts that you need to drill on the wall. So this is especially important if you guys have kids. Because yung kids, they are very playful and they might end up climbing, you know, these things. And it's an accident waiting to happen. So yan, i-reinforce nyo. And even if wala kayong kids, it's important because, you know, we got a lot of earthquakes. Aside from accidents, human accidents, your bags can also encounter accidents. So pag nabagsakan yung bags nyo ng cabinet, goodbye. I was choosing between this one, the open Billy bookcase, or the one with the glass cabinet. So aside from that is expensive, I realized I think this is better for a tropical country such as ours. So some vloggers, you see them with glass doors. That's better because there's protection between your bag and the outside. However, I realized that during summer, and actually even if it's not summer, it can get really hot here in the Philippines, especially where I'm living, medyo mainit dito in this part of Manila. And I figured if I put doors, it's like yung heat might get trapped inside. And heat is one of the enemies of luxury handbags, particularly leather. Because heat can create a moist environment, and that makes it a ripe environment for molds to grow. And if you get mold infestation on your luxury handbags, it's kind of hard to clean, and you might need to bring it to a professional cleaner, so that's an extra expense for you. And may cases na hindi na natatanggal yung molds, Beshies. Ang sakit nun. Yeah, that's why I just keep it open. But if you have the door, as I mentioned, aside from the protection, it protects your bags from dust, so you won't have to dust it often. But for me, it's not really a problem because since I rotate and use my bags all the time, as you can see, I don't really have a lot. So it's easy for me to use up all these bags all the time. They don't really sit here for like long periods, and so they're less likely to gather dust. Plus, I have a vacuum naman, and then every 2 weeks, I vacuum these slots. And another thing that I wanted to put was like lighting inside. So if I'm shooting a YouTube video like this, I can just turn on the lights and then the bags will be lighted nicely. And it's gonna come out, you know, really aesthetic and nice in camera. But the thing with that is, sa IKEA, parang those lights, I don't think they attach that. You have to buy them separately. Well, there's no problem with that, but you have to really attach those. So parang kukuha ka pa ng electrician and all. It's kind of hazardous for the bag also. So let's say, if you attach lights here, one breaks down or explodes, they might get onto your bags if that happens. And it can damage the leather, the surface. But you know, that's just me. Because I really save up for my bags and I do not have an unlimited amount of cash, and as much as possible I don't want to repurchase these, especially nowadays that the prices of these luxury bags keep on increasing. Ang crazy ng increase, lalo na to si Chanel, like nag 16% increase ba to? Grabe siya. Okay, so I bought these local pan white Japanese boxes with covers from LAZADA. So I have 4 here. And this is where I store my SLGs. So I have one for my SLGs. I don't really have a lot of SLGs. And in fact, it's bundled together with my jewelry. So this white box contains all the dust bags. Alright, so pakita ko sa inyo. Not only the dust bags, but also the cleaning cloth. All the dust bags are neatly folded inside this white box. And also, yung mga cleaning tools, such as this one from Chanel, I put it there also para I can just grab it and I can clean my bags easily. Alright, so that's it for the dust bags. I rarely put my bags inside dust bags because, as I said, they don't sit here for long periods of time, except for these guys, because these are the ones that I use all the time. Since they don't sit here for long periods of time, they tend not to gather too much dust. If there's one bag that I put inside the dust bag sometimes, that would be the Lady Dior, because this one is lambskin, and lambskin is very porous, hindi lang sa liquid. And I noticed, even sa dirt, parang if dirt attaches to it, parang it tends to sit, and if you try to dust it off, medyo may onting mark siya, and then you have to clean it. You can clean it, that's the thing with lambskin, however, yun lang, very prone talaga siya to stains and dust. So sometimes I put that inside a dust bag. Now, why don't I put my bags inside dust bags all the time? So it's the same idea as putting doors on the cabinet. It's cloth, and even if it's a little breathable, it still creates that warm environment around your bags. And again, that can create a conducive environment for molds to grow. I have this Prada Tessuto Gaufre. It's not with me anymore. I gave it to my mom-in-law. It's inside a dust bag, and I put it inside one of my removal luggage. And pagkuha ko sa kanya, it had a lot of like white sticky thing, and those were molds pala. Since that experience, I rarely put my bags inside dust bags na. Yun lang. Very prone siya sa dirt. So what I do na lang is, at least once every week, I try to wipe them off. Okay, so that's it for the dust bags. Now, stands. I would like to discuss stands. You see bag collectors with stands specifically for shoulder bags. You always see this on people with the saddle bags. For me, I have a stand for my multi-pochette accessoire. Ayan. So this is just an acrylic stand. This acrylic stand is for wallets. But I got it for my multi-pochette accessoire because I don't want to store these guys like on top of each other. This is not leather, this is canvas, but it still has leather trimmings on it. So again, my concern with the mold. Plus, because of the heat, yung canvas might stick to each other. So summer na, ang init na dito sa amin. As in, minsan nga pag hinahawakan ko itong mga leather bags ko, parang namamawis na ewan. Basta ang init na kasi. I got this one from Lazada, by the way. Yung strap niya, I just put it beside the bag. And that's it. Nandiyan na siya sa tabi. That's it for storage. And yan na siya. And now let's go to part 2, storing my bags. So, for the last 2 parts, I'm going to discuss how I properly store my canvas and my leather bags. There are different ideal ways to store your bags depending on the material. This is how I do it lang. Of course, others, they have their own ways. Here are the optimal ways to store your bags depending on the material. It's important to take care of the following things. Number 1, structure. And number 2, the hardware. So first is the structure. Even for structured bags like the flap and the buoy, of course, they have yung mga paddings nila inside. They have cardboards and other reinforcements inside that help give them their square and sturdy, solid shape. But at the end of the day, they're still leather. They're still predominantly leather, and leather over time tends to soften because it's still skin. But you can't just stuff it with anything, okay? So first, let's start with a leather and cloth mix, like the Chanel Boy. You can stuff it with cloth, with paper, or anything just to keep its structure. Maybe like a regular shirt will do, pero I would advise to not use anything with color because meron pa rin siyang leather parts here. And the shirt that you might put might not be tested for color fastness. Color fastness is a term that refers to the transfer of the dye to another surface. So, since may leather pa rin, pwedeng mag-transfer doon yung dye from the shirt. So, it's best to stay and stick with neutral colors. Paper naman, just plain paper. Don't put anything with color or with ink on it because, again, pwede siyang mag-transfer sa leather. Best to stuff it with tissue paper or Japanese paper. You can order those from Shopee or Lazada. Mura lang siya. Ang mga bags naman, like Chanel, they come with their own Japanese paper, so you can just use that and, you know, use it to stuff the bag. Now, for pure leather bags, such as the Chanel flap, what I do is, since marami siyang corners, hardware, and parang ito, mga flaps, I put protection per flap. So, this is the first flap, and this is the second flap, which is important because ito, may zipper here. And the zipper can put a dent on the leather flap, the internal leather flap. So basically, the bag came like this. And I am just imitating that whenever I'm storing my bags. Inside, I'm just gonna show you. This is how I keep my, the strap. I will discuss this later when we talk about the hardware. So yeah, as you can see inside, I just put tissue paper. So this is the tissue paper that came with the Chanel bag. So ito lang, finold ko lang siya neatly and then I put it inside. For this one, I just put this cloth to keep the handles together because may tendency itong mag-fall. That's it for storing pure leather handbags, and that doesn't only apply to Chanel, it also applies to other pure leather bags. Now next would be, depending on the interior of the leather bag, and most especially for canvas, I put mga silica gels because this helps absorb moisture from the inside of the bags. And most especially for leather bags. This one will help prevent that moist environment para to deter yung mold growth. However, for pure leather bags such as this one and this one, I do not put that at all kasi may mga nagsasabi na yung silica gel, it sucks moisture eh. It might dry out the leather naman. If you have bag organizers and bag fillers, it's very ideal because that will help keep the shape of the bag. Let's talk about bag stuffer. So this one has a bag stuffer. So this is my Balenciaga bag. I put a bag stuffer in here because this is a very slouchy bag and it's hard to keep its shape. Tagal na nito sa akin bag stuffer na to. Parang pinadala lang siya sa akin. And the brand is Poppy. Ayan. So that's it on how I store my leather handbags. Now let's go to storing canvas bags. It's not gonna be too long because canvas bags are not as delicate as leather bags. Basically, what I do lang is I just leave them here. And as I mentioned ko na kanina, it just needs a bag stuffer. It's important to put a bag stuffer in here because, yun nga, it's very big, it's canvas, and eventually, it may lose its shape because yung mga parts, especially for the parts that are kind of flimsy, like ito, yung rim ng bag, or yung sides, especially the rim. So it will eventually cave in. And if you want to avoid that, then a bag stuffer will help just to keep it upright. And for other types of canvas like this one, si Gucci Dionysus, I just, you know, leave it as is. And wala, ganito lang siya. Kasi maganda pa rin yung shape kasi reinforced yung side niya, yo. Parang meron siyang thick gum and stitching on the side. Next would be the hardware. So it's one of those things that you have to store properly and keep away, especially on leather handbags. Why? Because number one, hardware can inflict damage on your handbag. So especially in the case of the Lady Dior, it has metal charm. So if it's moved around and it doesn't have yung protective pouch niya, one of these letters can eventually scratch the leather. So very scary siya. And next reason would be the hardware can deform the bag. So if you are storing your hardware like this, especially on leather bags, eventually the weight of the hardware can put a dent or a mark on the handbag, and sometimes that doesn't go away. How do you store the metal straps and handles? So what I do is loop the chain and then I put it inside on top of the Japanese paper para it's not sitting naman and scratching against the walls of the inner lining. So, ganun lang siya, and then I close it. So, I keep my boxes, not for storage, but for selling for later. And it's the same for my liboy. Nandun lang na dyan sa loob. Basta yung metal or the heavy parts, I don't put it on top of the leather. I keep it away from the leather. Because FYI, if you buy luxury bags and you decide to sell them later on, you can fetch a good price for them if it comes complete. Meaning, you have the boxes, yung mga tags, receipt, all the inclusions, even the papers, Beshies, yung mga wrappers and all, it's part of it. So that's why I keep the boxes. So again, I keep them for that purpose, but not for storage. Why? Because if you store the bags inside the boxes, number one, again, the issue with mold growth. So this is dark, it can be damp, and since it's very constricted and small, it tends to trap more heat. So yan, perfect recipe for mold infestation. And also, if you store your bags inside the box and you store it this way, the weight of the bag can press on the side that's lying down, and that can deform your bag. And leather bags are very prone to that. And that's it. That's my luxury handbag storage setup. And that's how I store my handbags, specifically my leather handbags and my canvas handbags. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video, and please give me a thumbs up if you like it. Share this video, and again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the notifications bell so you're updated on my next upload, and don't forget to follow my social media accounts. Check the description box. Visit my blog, that's thebeautyjunkie.blogspot.com, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, Beshi!